Hey there, I'm Brittany Smith and welcome to Filmmaker Symposium. So last week we set up a green screen and we learned how to light it and all that stuff. This week we're actually going to learn how to edit it in Premiere Pro. Okay, so here I am in Premiere Pro. Today I'm not going to do After Effects, I'm just going to do Premiere Pro. But here is my green screen footage that I filmed last week. So I'm just going to play this little clip here so you can see what we're working with. So I'm just going back and forth, kind of searching. So the idea is that I'm going to be in maybe a dark forest and I'm going to be searching for something. So that first time around when I went in front of the screen was the overexposed version, and that second time is the underexposed. And then this is just a really silly, since my lantern had red lighting, I thought might as well do something with it. But it turned out to be extremely creepy in editing, so if you stick around to the end, you'll be able to see what I did with it. Okay, so that is the end of that clip. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what I did with the non-red lighting. All right. So that's what I did. You can see the little stack of all the little audio effects and some of the music and all that. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of that green, how to make sure you get rid of it the right way so that you don't have spill going on in the hair and everything. Okay, so before I do anything with this green screen, I'm going to want to put my background in. So in order to put your background in, it needs to be the lowest one in your stack. So this is my audio down here, and this is my video. So I'm going to need to make sure that I lift this video up one step so that I can put my background photo or background stock footage in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and take my stock photo. Normally I would like to use a stock video. So in this case, I have some dark woods, and I'd love to have a video because it's really great to have kind of the trees moving up and down a little bit or kind of blowing in the breeze. In this photo, it doesn't matter as much because it looks like a very still scene anyway, but I couldn't find a stock video that suited what I needed, so I just had to settle for this. But if you are doing your own green screen, try as hard as you can to get a video so that you have the real living, breathing background. So as you can see, I have some dark spots on the side. That means that this photo is not sized correctly for a video screen. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to my effect controls, and actually I first need to click on the photo. So now I can go to effect controls and I go to motion. And I'm going to click on scale over here, and I'm going to make sure that this gets rid of the black. There we go. Okay, so now we're all set with the background that we don't need to worry about anymore. And I'm going to click back on the video, and here comes the good stuff. So we're going to get rid of the green screen, and I need to open this back up so you guys can see it. Okay, so as you can see, we still have the green back there, and the first step that you need to take is click on that clip, which I've already done, and then you're going to go to video effects. Let me close this. Okay, so if I were to do this from scratch, I would go over here to effects, and then I would go to video effects, and then I would go to this little slot called keying, and normally you have to click it open, but it's already open. And then I would go to ultra key. Now, people use all kinds of different tools from this keying little drop down, but I like the ultra key for now, so I'm going to show you how I use ultra key. So I click on that and I drag it over into my video. Okay, so if you go over here to the left, you're in your effect controls, and you go down to your Ultra key, this is what we just put into our effect controls. And I'm going to go down here where it says key color. And I'm going to click on this little eyedropper thing. We're going to go ahead and click the color over here. Okay, so we've gotten rid of the green, but now I look super weird because I've got all kinds of like strange, snowy looking things in front of my face. So I'm going to show you how to deal with that. So you're going to go back to your Ultra key little tool over here, and I click on matte generation and matte cleanup. And the first thing I usually do when I have this sort of problem with that little fuzziness in front is I go to contrast. And actually, before I do this contrast, hold that thought. So we're still going to do contrast. But in order to really clean this nicely, I first want to go over here to output. The output is what you see. And right now we're seeing the composite version of this video clip. But if I change it to alpha channel, we're going to get this black and white thing. Now, the goal is when you're doing green screen, you want your subject to be completely white. And that will make you nice and clear. And then you want the outer part to be as black as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to contrast while I have this on alpha channel. And I'm going to go ahead and just make that all disappear. So now you can see I'm mostly white and we've got mostly black around. There's this little area here that's bugging me a tiny bit. May not be that big of a deal. Let me see if I can fix it with choke. Okay, looks like it is going away with the choke. The only thing is you can start seeing little dots showing up in the subject, which can be a little dangerous. So I'm just going to go ahead and back that up a little bit. And I don't think it's going to matter that we have just a tiny bit in the corner. All right, so that kind of fixed the problem. And we're going to go ahead and change it back to composite. There we go. Okay, so that's a lot more clear. I don't have any of that fuzzy stuff in front of me. That's really nice. Now, I really like how this turned out because usually when I do green screen, there's green around the hair and green around the shoulders. So this is really amazing. Now, if I did have some shoulder and hair green, I'd go to spill suppression in effect controls over here. And usually you can go over to spill and you can turn this over here and it will get rid of some of that green, or you just kind of mess with it to see how it works. Also Luma tends to help me a lot, but you would just mess with all these controls here in spill suppression if you were having trouble with the green around the subject. And you can also mess around with some color correction to see if it corrects the green. In this case, I don't have any green, so this is very unusual, but the reason why I don't have green is because I was so far away from the green screen, and I really lit that green screen on low lighting so that I didn't have a lot of green being reflected straight off of that cloth. So if you haven't seen that green screen video of how I set it up, you want to go back and watch it because you're going to want this really nice, clean, non-green subject here. All right, so now we're ready to start adding some audio effects. So the first audio effect that I want to add would be footsteps, because if you look at this footage here, that's a lot of microphone buzzing, and I wasn't paying much attention to audio at that point. But my footsteps are on concrete, so it really doesn't make sense for the scene that we have in the background. We really need some rustling leaves or some gravel. So I've gotten some footsteps over here, and I'm going to go ahead and move that right. Actually, I'm going to put it down here because that's where I put it over here. All right, so now when I do this, I'm going to have footsteps going through the whole video, and obviously we don't want that. So now I'm going to go ahead and clip this properly because we have quite a few footsteps at first. I probably don't want it to be so much. Okay, so that's about where I stop. So I don't want any more footsteps after that. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Oh, where did I lose it? Okay, so I'm going to get the razor here and going to clip right where the cursor is. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and separate that. So let's check that again and see if it sounds correct. Yeah, not too bad. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clip that all in the same way, and then we'll come back. Okay, so the next step would be to add some bugs, because when you think about an outdoor scene, it's going to have some outdoor bugs going on, and that will make it sound a little bit more realistic. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some crickets over here in my imported stuff. Let's see. Good. Come on now. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and shorten that to the clip. So let's go ahead and see what that sounds like. That's a little better. Might be a little bit too loud still, but we'll go with it for now. Okay, so I like it. Now let's go ahead and think of some other things we could add. One thing I was thinking is an owl. So an owl would really make this scene look like a dark forest because owls are in forests. So I've got this little owl over here, or maybe not so little. Let's see, where is he? There he is. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move him somewhere over here. So let's see if that is a good spot. Yeah, not too bad. Don't want to overdo it though, so I'm not going to add another owl, just have that one. So another thing that might be in a dark forest would be crows. So like crows kind of crowing in the distance. So I've got this crow recording. I'm going to go ahead and drop that down here. And then I'm going to go ahead and shorten this. There we go. Okay, so now let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, I do like the sound of the crows. I feel like it's just perfect. I don't think it's overcrowding it. And it's very natural sounding. It's not like a robotic. I almost feel like the bugs could be a tiny bit robotic. There we go. Okay, so we've got our crows, and we've got our footsteps, our owl, and our bugs. The other thing that's missing would be music. Music makes everything different. So I'm going to go ahead and add the music that actually fit. And there's actually a spot in this clip that I like. And I'm going to move this over because I want there to be kind of a introduction in here. So anyway, that is how you put together green screen. You want to really think about all those little things that would make it seem unrealistic and make sure you add those things. Let's go over here because I'm sure you all have been waiting for that creepy, the creepy me. So I don't like Halloween, but this is how this turned out with the red light. So I just thought it'd be kind of funny to laugh at it. Yeah, so I'm a lot more evil than you thought I was. Well, that's all I have for today, but if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And if you have questions or comments, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. So come on back because I want to see you next time on Filmmaker Symposium.